Hello everyone, I've got another new book and it's called A Little Aloud for Children, and it's another anthology. That means it's got lots of stories by different authors in. And the one I want to read today is by Frank Cottrell Boyce, and Frank Cottrell Boyce is quite famous for writing for TV. He's written for Coronation Street, he's written for Doctor Who, and he's also from near me. He's from a place called Waterloo in Liverpool, which is quite close to where I'm from. And this story is from his book called Cosmic, and it's about a boy who's a bit older than you. He's in year 7. He's just starting at a new school, and it says Liam Digby is an ordinary boy except for the fact that he is very, very tall. Okay. On my very first day at Waterloo High, I was the tallest person on the lower school site. The new uniform Mum had bought at the beginning of the summer didn't fit anymore, and they had to send off for an extra large blazer. I got a special dispensation to wear my own clothes for the first half term. When we went to get my travel pass for the bus to school, the woman in the office wouldn't believe I was school age, so we had to go home and get my birth certificate. And then the next morning when I showed it to the bus driver, she wouldn't believe it was mine either, and I had to get off the bus and text my mum, and she came down and explained to the driver of the next bus that I was just unusually tall for my age. "It's not the height, love," said the driver, "it's the stubble." So he's got a little bit of beard. Mum said, "Am I going to have to do this every morning?" "Only till we all get used to him." In the end, Mum sent off for a passport for me. I kept it in my pocket in case I got questioned again. Dad said, "That'll keep you out of trouble." How wrong can a person be, by the way? Dad also gave me his old mobile phone so that if he ever lost me again, like he did in Enchantment Land, he'd be able to find me. His phone's got Drax World on it. In case you don't know, that's this cosmic application that shows you your present location, directions to anywhere from anywhere, and also live satellite photographs of anything in the world. You can use it to look at volcanoes erupting, tidal waves, forest fires, anything. Dad uses it to make sure the traffic is flowing smoothly on the bypass. That first day at Waterloo High, I was on Draxworld all the way to school on the number 61 bus. I used it to look at theme parks and thrill rides. I found Oblivion in Alton Towers, Space Mountain in Euro Disney, the Terror in Camelot, Thunder Dolphin, Air, all of them. As the bus was crawling along Waterloo Road, I typed in Waterloo, wondering if I'd be able to get a satellite view of me on the bus. Instead, the screen filled up with 10,000 options. There were Waterloos everywhere. Waterloo Station in London, Waterloo the port in Sierra Leone, Waterloo in Belgium. You could go around the whole planet just jumping from Waterloo to Waterloo. I found Waterloos with waterfalls, Waterloos in the jungle, Waterloos in snowy mountains, and Waterloos with sandy white beaches. I couldn't figure out why anyone who wanted to live in a Waterloo would think, yes, Waterloo, but not the one with the big beach, or the one in the limitless white wastes of Siberia. No, the one with the flyover, handy for the New Strand shopping centre. Drax World gives you directions to anywhere, so it's not like it would be hard. If you were a proper grown-up and not just a stubbly boy like me, if you were my dad for instance, all you'd have to do is fill your car with petrol, turn left, turn right, go straight on, and the next thing you know, white beaches, snowy mountains, coral reefs. Truly, grown-upness is wasted on grown-ups. When I got to school, Mrs. Sass, the head, saw me in reception and said, "Ah, Tom?" "Liam," I replied. "Yes, of course, I'm Lorraine. Come this way." I remember thinking, fancy her telling me her first name? Isn't that friendly? Mrs. Kendall never told us her first name when we were in Joan of Arc Primary. So Lorraine took me off to the staff room and started telling me the names of all the teachers. They all shook hands with me and said they were pleased to meet me. I was thinking, what a polite school. I wonder if they do this to every new kid. It must take ages. Then Lorraine said, "Everybody, this is Liam Middleton, our new head of media studies." And she was pointing at me. I know, I should have put her right there and then. But someone gave me a mug of coffee and a custard cream and sat me down in a nice big easy chair. So I thought, I'll tell her later when I've eaten the biscuit. Then Lorraine said, "We've got assembly this morning. I'll bring you up onto the stage and introduce you to the whole school. Do you have anything you'd like me to say about you? Like what football team you support or any special interests?" I suppose that would have been a good time to say, "Very interestingly, I'm not a teacher, I'm a year 7. But she just seemed so happy, so I said, "I like massively multiplayer online computer games." She looked a bit blank. "Like World of Warcraft, you know, where you have an avatar and your avatar has skills and goes on quests." "Ah," said Lorraine, "skills. We're great believers in promoting skills here at Waterloo High." "I've got a lot of skills," I said. "Of course, some of them aren't that useful in real life, like dragon taming. Some of them are illegal, like knife throwing. I think that's illegal." "I think it probably is." I did try to persuade the head in my last school to start a World of Warcraft club, but she just looked at me like I was an idiot. Lorraine looked at me like I was an idiot. Then the bell went. "We'd better go through to assembly. Maybe you should just introduce yourself. Don't worry about being interesting." So that's how I ended up on stage, standing just behind the head, Mrs. Sass, while she talked to the whole school. There were about 8 people in the front row who knew me because they'd been at Joan of Arc Primary too, including Florida Kirby, who kept waving and making faces. Mrs. Sass said everyone was welcome and she hoped everyone had had a good summer, and then something about a new registration procedure, and then she said, "And now I'd like to introduce you to a new member of staff. He's going to be teaching media studies and he'll be a form tutor for class 9. This is Mr. Middleton." And she pointed at me. I stepped up to the microphone and said, "Thanks, Lorraine. Sorry, Mrs. Sass." But everyone in the hall was already muttering, "Lorraine! Her name's Lorraine!" And Lorraine was looking cross. All these faces were looking up at me. Part of me was thinking, I really should think more about the consequences of my actions. Then this wouldn't happen to me. But another part of me was thinking, this is good. I said, "Morning, everybody." And everybody said, "Morning, sir." "Sir?" I said, "Has anyone here been to Waterloo near Liverpool?" 1,200 hands shot up and waggled in the air like a salute. Looking out at them, I felt like Darth Vader in Star Wars. I took a breath and said, "Has anyone been to Waterloo in Belgium, scene of the original Battle of Waterloo in 1815? No one. I said, "Siberia. Siberia is as big as Europe. It's got the largest freshwater lake in the world, a lake so big it has its own species of dolphin. The ice is so thick that the railway runs over it. It's also got a town called Waterloo. Has anyone been there to Waterloo, Siberia?" No one put their hands up. "Why not?" No one answered, but they all squirmed in their seats as though going to Siberia was homework and they hadn't done it. Waterloo in Sierra Leone. No one had. Sierra Leone has lush rainforests and amazing history. Anyone? No one. Why? They all squirmed again. Why have we all been to the Waterloo with the flyover and the shopping precinct when none of us have been to the Waterloo with the waterfall, the Waterloo in the jungle, the Waterloo by the frozen lake? Why? These places, they're not in Narnia. You don't have to find a magic wardrobe to get to them. They're not in Azeroth. You don't have to create an avatar and climb inside a computer. They're real places. You can go there by bus. Sometimes it'll take a lot of buses, but they're just there. They're part of your world. Someone shouted, "Yes!" I was amazed to see it wasn't one of the children. It was Mrs. Sass. I realised now that she thought I was being a bit metaphorical. She thought I was going to say something about how education opens up new worlds for you or something, but I didn't. I said, "Let's go!" No one moved. They all thought I was being metaphorical too. I said, "Come on, what are we doing here? Let's go! Come on, follow me!" I don't know where that last bit came from. It just came out. It was part of the flow of the thing. I walked down the middle of the hall towards the doors at the back. It took a minute, but somebody followed me. Then someone else, and someone else, and everyone followed me out of the hall, through the lower school exit and into the playground. The sun was shining. The birds were singing. I walked up to the gates and pushed. Nothing happened. Waterloo High is a high security school. The gates are locked at 9 a.m. and no one can get in or out without a swipe card. That's why there was a man in a leather jacket standing on the other side of the gates talking into the intercom. "I'm the new head of media studies," he was saying. And over the intercom the secretary was saying, "I don't understand. You're already here. You're taking assembly." By then Mrs. Sass was at the gate. She looked at the actual new head of media studies. Then she looked at me and she hissed, "Who are you?" I did try to explain it all to her. I said, "I'm really sorry, Lorraine." "Don't call me Lorraine anymore. It's Mrs. Sass." "Yes, Mrs. Sass." "Why didn't you tell me your real name?" "I did. But, well, you should have more sense, a big lad like you." When I got home, Mum said, "So how did it go? Your first day at big school?" I said, "All right." "Is that all you've got to say, all right?" "No." "What else?" "I'm starving." Sometimes it's better not to go into too much detail.